At that time, the filmmaking was licensed.
Yes.
You had to have a license to produce a film. So, how could you make a film in those days?
Well, actually, the license system provided us the opportunity of making a film because not all the people could make a film. From the producers, the senior producers who were producing 5, 6 films, they were given licenses for 3 films or 4 films. For instance, Shantaram was making 4 films or 3 films in a year, so he was given license to make 2 films or 3 films. And like that, they
The production was rationed.
rationed, yes. And the length was also rationed to 11,000 feet. And therefore, I don't know who thought of this idea. Must have been some progressive hidden in the secretariat. That 3 non-professionals will be given licenses for producing films. They should not have produced any film before. If possible, their actors should also not be professional stars, and they will be given licenses. And licenses at that time had a value of their own. I think it was about 1 lakh of rupees.
But I think only the cultural organizations
And cultural organizations were supposed to.
were supposed to be given licenses.
So we were among one of the 3 cultural organizations which was given a license through Mr. N.M. Joshi.
But at that time, play written by you also was being performed by People's Theatre.
Yes.
And the play had proved quite popular. The play's name, if I remember right, was Zubeda.
Yes.
And also at that time, Bengal was hit by famine. And at that time, a squad had come from Bengal to Bombay.
Yes. And
it sang
staged a play about the famine, which was partly used by us in the screenplay. It was called Antima Abhilasha. But I had seen the play by Bijan Bhattacharya called Nabanna, which means the new harvest. And I said a screenplay can be written around this play, and some portions of Antima Abhilasha can be incorporated in it, and some portions of Krishan Chandra's short
Andata.
story called Andata. And therefore, out of these 3, I and you, we wrote the screenplay of Dharti Ke Lal.
Dharti Ke Lal was produced on a altogether different style, isn't it?
Yes.
Highest
As you
seller.
know, there were no people who had experience of standing before the movie camera. Neither the heroine, nor the hero, nobody, nor the character artist. Nobody had ever faced the movie camera before in his life,
Except the 3 guest
except
artists.
the 3 guest artists.
But all the artists who appeared in the film later on became quite popular.
Yes.
Uh,
But the film did not become popular.
but I think there was some cooperative basis was evolved to engage the director, the writer, and everybody. I think highest salary paid
Was 400 rupees. I
500
think.
rupees.
500 or 400.
Mr. Ravi Shankar, the great music director,
Ah,
was paid 500 rupees a month. You were also, I think, paid about 500 rupees a
Yes.
month. And Shambhu Mitra and Balraj Sahni, they were paid 400 rupees a month.
yes.
With all these efforts, the film was made.
Yes, the film was made and unfortunately it didn't run, you see, because of the communal riots.
On the 3rd day in Bombay, the communal riots broke out
Yes.
and the film was finished. But you carried the film. I mean, I came also with you to Shimla,
Yes.
where it was shown to the politicians.
But the big politicians couldn't come because of a Congress working committee in which Gandhiji, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Maulana Azad, these people were involved. But Sarojini Naidu said, I will not go to the working committee, I will go to see this picture. So she came along with Begum Shafi, who was a Muslim League leader, because there were negotiations were going on between League and Congress also at that time. And therefore they saw this picture on behalf of the Congress and the Muslim League, and they came out in tears. Begum Shafi as well as Mrs. Naidu. And Mrs. Naidu said, I wish our leaders could see this picture. This was her remark, which she gave us in writing also. That I wish our national leaders and Muslim League leaders and the British leaders could see this picture and see the conditions of our country at this time.
The film afterwards did win international recognition, isn't it?
Yes.
Where it is considered as among one of the best films.
George Sadul recognized it as one of the 100 best films. He has written in his book. It is in French. But this is mentioned as one of the 100 best films of all times.
The most important sequence in the film was the Hunger March.
Yes.
How did you shoot that Hunger March?
Well, as you will remember, we shot it not in Bengal, where we were not permitted to shoot because there was army rule in Bengal, you see. We tried to shoot in Bengal, but we shot only 3-4 shots. But we shot it, I think, in Vidarbha or
Dhulia.
Dhulia. What is that area called?
Khandesh.
Khandesh.
And I think it is the Kisan Sabha workers
Kisan Sabha workers
who participated in the
in the Hunger March.
Hunger March. So that is supposed to be one of the highlights of that film,
Yes.
which was made 10 years before Pathir Panchali.
Yes, 9 years before.
9 years before Pathir Panchali.
Panchali was made at the same time as Munna we made.
Yeah. Now, after Dharti Ke Lal, you went to Lahore to make a film. During the turbulent days,
Yes.
of pre-partition turbulent
Yes,
days. You were, I think, just while the riots were going on, you were shooting in Lahore
Yes.
and bringing the film to Bombay. Will you tell us something about that experience?
Well, that experience was very unfortunate, you see. Because we took the unfinished picture, loaded it into an air-conditioned train, air-conditioned compartment, sat in that compartment and came at the risk of our lives and the risk of our film also, because somebody might have burnt it or might have attacked our compartment. And we brought it to Bombay. And here we tried to finish the film somehow or the other and edit it in some way. And then I think it was released in Calcutta or somewhere, but not in Bombay.
That film also was a fantasy, isn't it?
Yes, fantasy. Aaj Aur Kal it was called.
It tried to project India 100 years hence.
100 years.
But the idea never reached the people. So,
So I think we can make it again.
yeah. But I remember during the pre-partition days, you were very much opposed to the partition, isn't it?
Yes.
And some people like Balraj Sahni were trying to defend partition.
Yes. Under the influence of the Communist Party.
Under the influence of the Communist Party. So you again had differences with the Communist Party,
Yes, many differences I had.
though you have been labelled as a red,
Still I am labeled as a red.
despite your sharp differences. I remember there was a meeting of the Muslims in St. Xavier's College, where League speakers belonging to League were supporting Pakistan, and Mr. Chagla and you were the only two speakers who opposed the partition.
Yes.
And I think you were threatened with your life. Am I right?
Yes.
At that time, this kind of these kind of threats also
As
have
was
been,
usual.
you have been used to that. But
Last week I was threatened both by Hindus and Muslims. So I, as a reply, I published both the letters in the Blitz, Hindi Blitz.
this how did partition affect you personally?
Personally, it was affected me very much because many of my family members, not my direct family members, but related to me, were forced to go to Pakistan against their wishes. because there was difference between Gandhiji and Vallabhbhai Patel over the issue of Panipat. Gandhiji wanted Panipat to remain as a symbol of Hindu-Muslim good relations, which were really good in Panipat. The Muslims were in a majority and Hindus were in a minority, but they were very happy to live with the Muslims. But the exigencies of the moment were such, the pressure of the refugees coming from West Pakistan. I mean, they were ragged, they were on the way, they were murdered, they were beaten up. Same thing happened to Muslims from East Punjab who were going towards Pakistan. But Panipat could not be saved because this place was required for the refugees from West Pakistan. Otherwise, Vallabhbhai Patel said that I cannot give any guarantee for Delhi because the refugees will come to this capital city and they will do lot of maramari and they will wreak out their vengeance
On Muslims in the
on
capital.
Muslims of Delhi, and therefore they should be stopped at Panipat and they should be given the places to live in Panipat, and therefore the Muslims should be driven out, sent to Pakistan, and their places should be given to the Hindu refugees. So in that, some members of our family also were involved. But my family, immediate family, was saved by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who sent South Indian soldiers with a truck, who loaded them in one night and brought them to Delhi. But my mother imagined, you see, that our houses will remain the same, our property will not be touched. I mean, that was her
Wishful thinking.
wishful thinking, because she put she put two boards on the gates of the house, on the doors of the house. There were two houses, my mother's house and my aunt's house. So both of them they were written in Urdu that these people are not going to Pakistan, they are going to Bombay to stay with Khaja Ahmad Abbas, who is a nationalist journalist, etc., etc. And they pinned these boards to the doors and left with the truck, only with their one
Belonging.
change of clothes on their heads, which they had to carry out of town because the lorry could not come in the narrow lanes of the town and had to stop near the Tehsil on the Grand Trunk Road. So up to that time, to that place, they had to walk on foot in that midnight when there was curfew in Panipat. So there was danger of their lives also. But the military soldiers were there on both sides to protect them. And they sat in this truck and they were brought to bomb Delhi at the orders of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So my immediate family was saved thus.
Then from Delhi they came to Bombay. And I think the parda which was prevalent was given up by that
given
time.
up.
Your wife was, of course, not observing parda when she came to Bombay.
Yes.
But your
Even
sister,
my mother gave up parda.
your mother, they gave up parda after the partition. After the partition, you went to Kashmir and you were present in the Kashmir when the first attack of Pakistan.
After the first attack.
After the first attack.
The first attack had already occurred. I was in a group of progressive writers who had flocked to Kashmir from all over the country. So there I met Ramanand Sagar,
And who else?
Kishan
Chandra.
Singh Bedi, Kishan Chandra, etc. All these people had come to Kashmir.
And there you read Ramanand Sagar's book.
Yes. Which landed me in greater trouble again.
How?
Because I volunteered to write the preface to it,
Huh?
and I wrote it, and it created all the trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Because I said in that preface that all the parties in India,
Huh.
including the Congress, the Muslim League and the Communist Party, are involved in these riots. They should have taught their people humanism first and dynamism afterwards. They reversed the order. They taught them dynamism to fight for their rights. But they didn't teach them to be human beings, you see. And therefore they became beasts. So this preface was not liked by the communists because I had blamed the Communist Party also.
I remember you used to have serious discussion before partition in Mr. Balraj Sani's house in Juhu,
Yes,
near
yes.
here only,
Yes.
where we are sitting. And you at night also used to strongly argue against the partition. I mean, you remained
Yes, yes.
till the end an opponent of partition. Today, what do you think of the fait accompli?
I think the same. You see, it was a mistake and very grievous mistake for which we are still suffering. But I don't want a war, you see, between India and Pakistan. I would like to have peace if possible. If Pakistan does not provoke a war, then we can live in peace. you see.
But you know, Pakistan and India can always use each other as a sort of threat for political purposes,
That
isn't
is-
it? Pakistan has been using it. India didn't have a reason so far that India will attack, so let us be ready. After the partition, Bombay had a lot of riots. You mentioned, no, about
Yes.
Jati Lal. And you remember the day we heard the news of Gandhiji's assassination. We were
Yes.
both in
in
Parisian Dairy,
Parisian area.
and we heard the news of Gandhiji's being assassinated. And by the time we reached Dadar, all kind of rumors were afloat. Some Muslim had killed, or some Sikh had killed, and you saw the minority communities' shops being looted in Dadar. How do you
No.
react to this Gandhiji's assassination? And now, especially now, what do you think?
It was very unfortunate. you see. But the same spirit, unfortunately, is still being revived.
Since spirit is still being revived.
Is being revived.
Well, don't you think that this the main cause of the we have not never tackled the fundamental issues involved in it? On a fundamental basis, we have been afraid to tackle. We have been only trying to patch up things.
And that is there, you see, political game. And politicians want to seek a easy way out. They do not want to tackle the problem at the source. They want to patch up somehow or the other as quickly as possible. That
But-
is the mistake of the politicians, mistake or their weakness.
In 1948, I think on Gandhiji's birthday, a procession was taken out in Bombay. You were, I think, one of the leaders of that procession.
Yes.
Not by any political party, but by artists and
Yes.
writers.
14 associations of artists and writers.
Which were those 14? I mean, you remember?
I don't remember, but progressive writers and the People's Theatre were the main leaders. And there were other associations of Marathi writers, Gujarati writers.
Prithvi Theatres also was
Prithvi
there.
Theatre was there. There were, I think, about half a dozen theatre organizations like People's Theatre and about 6 or 7 or 8 writers associations.
That procession, did it bring peace to Bombay?
I think it did.
So the artists could play an important role.
Yes.
I mean, that procession sort of determined that artists also could play a role
Yes.
in fostering peace and goodwill among people.
Very prominent artists were in the trucks of the People's Theatre and Prithvi Theatre and other organizations. And their voice was heard for sanity, for peace. I think it was for the first time that I passed through Bindi Bazar. And I remember Bindi Bazar, a Muslim said, "Hey साला आज आया यहाँ रात की इतने बार तो मैंने कहा हाँ I have come at the head of an army. I had come at the head of an army of peace."
This kind of, I mean, at that time also, apart from this procession, your play, Main Kaun Hu, to which
Yes, yes.
was being performed on streets
Yes.
in Bombay.
At Chowpatty also.
Did the play also help to create a better understanding?
Yes. To some extent, though, I mean, masses of people could not see the play. But whoever saw it was affected by it.
That play was, Premnath used to act in that play.
Premnath, yes. He used to play the role of the imperialist.
He used to play the main role.
Imperialist.
Imperialist, let's say.
There were one Hindu, one Muslim, and one
Huh.
imperialist. The doctor was the imperialist.
So, you used your art of writing or performing in a way for a political purpose.
Yes, yes.
That you have
I
been.
was not ashamed of it or shy of it. Or,
Why should you be shy of it? Even today, you need not be shy of it. But in 1949, you remember we both of us had been to Mahabaleshwar, and there we concocted one story called Avara. And that story, after we came to Bombay, and you saw Mehboob Andaz,
and that.
you felt that he was the right man to do it. I think we went to him also.
Yes, we
So-
were very impressed by the performance of Raj Kapoor.
Yeah.
And we wanted Mehboob to produce the picture and Prithvi Raj to be the father and Raj Kapoor to be the son. Mehboob Sahab liked the story, but he insisted on Prithvi Raj as the father and Dilip Kumar as the son. Then I said, I will not give you the story. Only Raj Kapoor will play the role of Prithvi Raj's son, not because of anything else, but because they are father and son. And if they are real father and son in real life, then it will have a much greater impact.
So ultimately, they did play.
Yes, yes,
When Raj Kapoor, when he heard the story,
yes.
he immediately said yes, he will do it. But I think he made you convince his father.
Yes, convince his father.
That-
Because father was not yet playing any father's role. He was himself a hero at that time. Sikandar, I think, was the last picture he had made.
He had made a number of films. Like Fool, Krishna Arjun Yuddha, Maharathi, Karna. But he was the hero.
He was the hero. And he said, you have also brought a father story for me. So I said, no sir, this is not father's story, this is son's story. You are the father and your son is your son. So this is your story and Raj Kapoor happens to be your son. Not that Raj Kapoor happens to be the hero and you are the father. So like that I persuaded him and convinced him.
It took about 2 years for Raj Kapoor to make the film, or 1.5 years. I don't know.
At that time he used to take slightly less time than now.
But I mean, you have written in your book when the first show was held at Liberty, and
All the leaders of the film industry walked out
without even
without congratulating him or without any show of enthusiasm and so on, and even shaking hands with him as if it was because they expected it to flop.
but to their surprise, the picture proved to be hit.
Yes.
You came in contact with many writers,
Yes, yes. All Hindi writers I
all Hindi
made
writers.
friends, made
You
friends.
made
at
friends
that
with
time.
them. Mahadevi Verma also, I think you met.
Yes, Firak and
Firaq. Then Sahir also was there at that time.
Sahib. Yes, I think I remember.
I mean, I remember Sahir was there. And I think you attended a mushaira held by Mrs. Naidu in the governor's house
In Lucknow.
in Lucknow. How do you manage to write about on railway stations, in trains, in aeroplanes? While you're traveling, you always write.
I find my mind works better when traveling. The speed of the train or the speed of the plane gives me inspiration to write. Because I was trained in newspaper offices, first in National Call, then in Bombay Chronicle, where the presses were downstairs. And when the press started, there was a hell of a racket. You see. The whole building used to shake, in Bombay Chronicle especially, because we were on the first floor and the ground and the floor was wooden. And only that wooden floor was between them and the rotary machines. And the rotary machines used to shake the whole place. So we had to train ourselves and to teach ourselves to not to mind that and to keep on writing. So I think that is the reason why I can write under any circumstances, whether it is a house, whether it is a
And you can write at any odd hour.
hour there.
Didn't you write the Charlie Chaplin's Great Dictator Review after midnight?
Yes.
And it is the only review I remember which was published on the front page of a newspaper in India.
Because I had taken the editor with me and I said, if this picture is good, you must publish the review of it immediately on the front page. He liked the picture very much and he said, come on, write the review and I will publish it on the front page. So I sat in the press And as I was writing page by page, I was giving it to the tele-printer operator. And what is it? Teletype operator, is it?
Linotype.
Linotype, yes. Linotype machine man, you see.
Ah.
So he was composing it and I was writing it. And the proofs were being sent to the editor and he was correcting it and sending instructions that it should be used immediately on the front page. So next day, I didn't go from the office till the copies had come out, and I was carrying the paper home with the,
With a review on the front page.
which I thought was a very great achievement.
During all these years, only once it has happened. That is, I have not come across a review of a film on the front page. in
But
India.
I will tell you a more sensational thing. I got the review of Pardesi, not Pardesi, Padosi,
Ah.
written as a first editorial in Bombay Chronicle.
Acha.
And that picture also I had to show to the editor. I said, if you agree that it deserves this front editorial, the main editorial of the paper, then you allow me to write it. Otherwise, you can tell me. But that was not printed on the next day. It was printed on third or fourth day.
But this kind of importance, even today, is not given to films in daily newspapers, which you got, which you could get.
Yeah.
I remember I also wrote a review for your paper on Citizen Kane, which was published on the editorial page
Yes,
and not in the regular film columns.
yes.
But this kind of editorial support to big films, good films, has become now rare,
Very rare.
very rare.
Because now they think it's part of the industry and so on. So,
But even the so-called parallel cinema doesn't get that kind of
importance.
importance in the newspapers. Back to 50s. After,
You are still in the 50s.
yeah, we are still in the 50s. After Avara was complete, you again became a film director and producer.
Yes.
After Dharti Ke Lal.
After Dharti Ke Lal,
After a lapse
so
of
many years had to pass
six-
for you and me to pay the debts,
last,
which was mainly paid by
yeah.
you.
last, after 6 years, you again donned the mantle of a producer director
Yes,
and made a film called Anhoni.
yes.
Anhoni and then Rahi. These two films you made one after the other. What was your experience again? What urge brought you again back to the films? Or you felt that film was a better medium of expression than
Not better
journalism?
medium, but larger medium, I would say. Because books had very restricted circulation at that time, especially. And film, at the worst, a film which was a flop also was seen by lakhs of people. And therefore, I felt that the film medium should be utilized.
So you, to convey your own ideas to the people, you use the film medium. How did you manage to survive in the commercial setup? As it is, you said Dharti Ke Lal also got us into financial straits which took years for us to clear.
4 or 5 years.
Personally, we had to clear them. Now, making the films, was it a successful experience or was it again or each film got
Each
you
film
more,
got me into a mess.
into mess and debt?
But some films were created less mess and less debts, and some created more. It depended on the economy of the film
Of the filmmaking?
filmmaking.
No, but why? I think your Anhoni was quite a success.
But yes, but I got the money back. I didn't make a profit, but I think I got the money back. But Rahi, I had a little loss.
With Rahi, you went to Moscow.
Yes,
That your visit to Moscow, along with Raj Kapoor, Nargis, you were the leader of the delegation.
yes,
Now you are going to Moscow for the first time. You had been to China earlier.
yes.
What was now your opinion about Soviet Union?
Very good. The people were very friendly, especially towards Indians. Because this was the post-Stalin era. Stalin had died, and this was a process of de-Stalinization had started. But not yet become so strong as it came in the era of Khrushchev. But it was much less stringent. And Indian pictures came at a psychological moment because the people were fed up with boy loves tractor and girl loves tractor kind of stories. The only stories Mr. Stalin approved were this boy loves tractor and the girl loves tractor, and they are having a race to produce more grain or more wheat or more rice, you see, and thereby they fall in love. So the people were tired of this dry as dust kind of cinema, and they were looking for something better. And suddenly came these Indian pictures, which were full of songs and dances and comedy, and at the same time, they were progressive pictures. They were not reactionary pictures. So they matched the mood of the Soviet people at that time.
Especially Avara did, I think.
But Avara was not the first picture to be shown at the festival. First picture shown was Do Bigha Zameen. And Do Bigha Zameen created a great impression, especially on the critics. All the critics wrote long reviews of
Do Bigha Zameen.
Do Bigha Zameen and said this is the kind of cinema that should be there in India and so forth. But next day came
Avara.
Raj Kapoor felt very nervous, though he himself was one of the greatest admirers of Bimal Roy's Do Bigha Zameen. And he said to me there, who told these people, you see, that Do Bigha Zameen is a great picture? I said Raj Kapoor. Because Raj Kapoor had given a statement to
Yeah,
Sunil.
he had written a review
Ah,
in Sunday Standard.
I didn't remember that.
He had written a review in Sunday Standard praising the film. I remember at Metro, I had met him after the premiere show of Do Bigha Zameen.
Yes, I remember the statement he gave to Sunil, that
Yeah.
who was collecting the statements
yeah.
of people for Radio Ceylon at that time. And Raj Kapoor said it's a brilliant picture and great picture and whatnot. When Avara was shown, it floored the people and thereby started the great love affair of Raj Kapoor with the Soviet people. I mean, I have not seen anywhere in India or any picture receiving the kind of acclamation that people were standing, you see, standing and giving the ovation, 10 minutes of ovation or 15 minutes ovation, Raj Kapoor, and wouldn't allow him to leave the house. After that, Raj Kapoor became a legend in Soviet Union.
You made one film before going to Soviet Union. It was a songless film.
Yes.
What did inspire to make that film?
But I was frankly inspired by the Italian new realistic films that were shown at the Delhi Film Festival, but not by any particular film. I mean, there was no reflection of any Italian film in this film, but the approach was the same. The approach was not melodramatic, but the simple incidents of life were taken and strung together. And that was the, I think, great achievement of Italian neorealism.
That's why you didn't put any song.
That's why I decided not to put any songs. Though in the beginning I was almost without any producer. No producer would take the film.
No distributor, you mean?
The distributor, yes.
But music played an important part all the same in this film.
Yes. Because I had a discussion with my music director, Anil Biswas, who has just completed Golden Jubilee of his films and has been, this Golden Jubilee has been celebrated in Karnataka. And he told me that don't worry if there are no songs, we will put background music right from the beginning to the end, you see. And I said the score should be such that it can be played by itself. And therefore he employed 4 of the greatest musicians in India for this background music. Each instrument represented some certain characters.
Like the flute represented
The mother. The mother and the sentiment of the mother.
It was Pannalal Ghosh,
Yes, Pannalal
Ram Narayan,
Ghosh,
Vilayat Hussain.
Vilayat Hussain.
These 3 were the main musicians who played
Yes.
in that.
Apart from one musician who played the percussion instruments.
Did you take this film to Moscow?
Yes, I took a 16 millimeter print to Moscow just to show them what we were doing next.
Was Munna shown outside India?
It was shown in Edinburgh Film Festival, which was a non-competitive festival. But this picture had a great success at the Edinburgh Festival. It was very well reviewed by all the British newspapers, especially of Scotland. And it was shown along with Pather Panchali as a two-feature program together, one after the other. The Pather Panchali ran for 4 days, and this Munna ran for 3 days. But these pictures were shown as representative of the new Indian cinema.
Wasn't Munna shown in Cinematic Paris?
Yes, it was shown as Cinematic Paris also.
That was probably one of the first Indian films to be shown there.
Yes, quite possible.
Uh,
After Dharti Ke Lal, I think.
after that, after coming back to Pardesi,
Yes.
how did you proceed with the co-production? I mean, what were the terms? How did you stipulate? Who
Well,
was
the terms were that we were dividing the expenses roughly on equal basis and dividing the territories of the picture also roughly on equal basis. Some of the territories belong to us, for instance, India and also Indian overseas, and the rest of the territories were belong to the Soviet Union. All the socialist countries were in the Soviet territory, and all the non-conventional European and American territories were to be divided between the two. Frankly, it didn't make any money from America or Europe, and therefore it was out of it was not taken into consideration. But our greatest advantage was that we were to get 100 prints from the Soviet Union. And their advantage was that they got 3 of the best Indian artists to play in their picture without charging any money from them.
the artists were Nargis, Prithviraj Kapoor,
Prithviraj Kapoor and Balraj
Padmini, Balraj Sahni.
Padmini also.
Padmini
4
also. 4 artists, not 3.
Yes, 4 artists.
You shot partly in Moscow and partly in India.
Yes, mostly in India and partly in Moscow.
I see. The outdoors were all mostly in
All
India.
India, and some of the indoors were also in India, and some of the indoors were in Soviet Union.
Wasn't Pardesi the first picture to be financed by Government of India?
Well, partly financed. You see, because you know the arrangement for the financiers is that the negative is mortgaged, and the negative we could not mortgage to anybody because the negative was in Moscow all the time, and therefore we could not get any money from any financier, and we needed money urgently to take our team to Moscow, and therefore I mentioned this fact to KPS Menon, who was the ambassador, our Indian ambassador in Moscow. And it's very interesting that he gave me a letter to his brother. One of his brothers was the director of the commercial film, not Film Finance Corporation, but Commercial Finance Corporation. And I went to him with this letter. He read the letter and he laughed. And he said, "You want only 2 lakhs of rupees?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "But do you know, Mr. Abbas, that I am forbidden to advance loans less than 10 lakhs of rupees." So it is not because you are asking too much, but you are asking for too little. I said, "I cannot raise it to 10 lakhs because then I will have to pay you back 10 lakhs of rupees plus interest. And I cannot afford. So I went to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and told him the situation. And I said, the honor of India is at stake if I do not take the whole unit, the musicians and the music director and the playback artists and all these, to Soviet Union. And Panditji asked T.T. Krishnamachari, and T.T. Krishnamachari immediately agreed to give us 2 lakhs of rupees out of his finance ministry. And the 2 lakhs was given to us, But Pandit said it must be paid back on time, you see. Don't, otherwise people will ask all sorts of questions, you see. And the questions were raised, but on the day when the whole money was paid back to the government of India.
Did the government charge any interest?
Yes. I don't remember whether it was 12% or 14%, but interest was charged.
So you paid back with interest.
Yes, sir.
How soon you paid?
I think within a year we paid.
Within a year. Because you went for shooting there in 57. I remember because I accompanied you.
Yes.
So we were there in
Yes.
May 1957.
Yes.
From May to almost July, August, you were there. And during these 3 months, you did most of the shooting, and Nargis also was there.
Yes.
She came back for the premiere of Mother India in India. In November, Mother India was released in the same year. So this Pardesi, how did it fare at the box office?
Well, it fared very well in Soviet Union and very badly in India. And the reason for that is very interesting. You see. It is because of male chauvinism. The male chauvinism of the Indians revolted against the idea of an Indian girl, beautiful girl like Nargis, loving a foreigner, a bearded foreigner at that. And they said, why didn't you change the situation?
Why not Russian girl and Hindu
Russian
boy?
girl and Indian boy. I said, because it's not a historical fact. Unfortunately for us, the historical fact is that the Russian man arrived in India and fell in love with an Indian girl. And that situation we cannot change because it's part of history.
This failure must have come as a setback to co-production. Well, I think after 1957,
For some time, yes.
for a long time, no co-production came into the offing. 57, when this film was made, also was the year of elections in India. And I think from Bombay, from this very constituency, Mr. Krishna Menon fought the election.
Yes.
And I think you were one of his campaigners.
Yes.
How come?
I was a campaigner at that time for the Congress, and he was a representative of the Congress, and therefore, and apart from that, I liked the personality of Krishna Menon, and I was impressed by it, and therefore I was involved along with Balraj Sahni and Rajni Patel and Ramesh Sanghvi and other such young people, and I threw myself into this campaign. Very interesting things happened during this campaign, because one night I went to the
Meeting.
You know this lady, Mrs. Heptullah.
Abdullah.
Her house, Heptullah Park in Santa Cruz, was the headquarters of the Krishna Menon Campaign Committee. And at that where we used to go every night to various places, but we used to take our instructions from the headquarters in Krishna Menon's Campaign Committee. So I went there, and a jeep was assigned to me, and I was told to go in the jeep, and it will take me first to a meeting in Chembur, not a main town of Chembur, but somewhere in the neighborhood. I went there, and by mistake, the driver dropped me at a meeting of the Jan Sangh, which was campaigning for the other candidate, which was, I think, Mr. Kriplani.
Ajay Kriplani.
So I was landed in the midst of hostile crowd, you see, which might have lynched me, you see, or beaten me up and so on. But I played a trick on them also, you see. I started by abusing Muslim League, and later on said that Muslim Leaguers are of various types, you see. Some wear pajamas and some wear dhotis and some wear top knots and some wear beards, you see. And I said the both types of Muslim Leaguers I detest and I hate. And I said one type of Muslim Leaguers is represented by Mr. Jinnah and his followers in India, the Indian followers, and the other type are represented by RSS and Jan Sangh. So it was too late, because they had already applauded the denunciation of the Muslim League, and therefore they were at a loss what to do now that I was turning the tables against them. But meanwhile my jeep arrived to take me back.
And so you were back safe.
And I escaped. Nothing untoward happened.
This after 1957 elections and after the Pardesi debacle, I mean, from box office point of view, You made a film called Char Dil Char Rahe. That was your next film. In this film also you were experimenting with the form and
Yes, because there were three stories rather, and the fourth story was a combination of all the three separate stories, but they were combined in the fourth story.
that's why it was called Char Dil Char Rahe.
Yes,
4 ways and 4
hearts.
hearts. What was the experience of this film also?
This film was appreciated by a certain class, but was not appreciated by the masses, the so-called masses.
In spite of the big star cast, it didn't help.
No, the big star cast was
Handicapped.
handicapped to us, it proved. Because I de-glamorized all the stars. Raj Kapoor was put in dhoti. A beautiful lady like Meena Kumari was given dark makeup. Shami Kapoor was made a hotel boy, a hotel waiter, and Nimmi was supposed to be the prostitute of a prince. And therefore, the glamour of the stars which is associated with their roles in popular cinema was not there.
During this period, you passed through a lot of mental strain.
Yes,
With
because
you-
my wife died.
Your wife died. She was ill. So that also,
And one of the last things she said before her death was that don't take stars now. I have seen what you are suffering because of the stars, and therefore don't take the stars in future. And I vowed to her not to take them as stars.
you were immediately after Char Dil Char Rahe, that was in 1961,
Yes,
you started now a starless film.
yes,
But that time, by that time, the Film Finance Corporation had come into existence.
existence.
Ah.
And my application was application number 1. But the finance corporation turned down that application, could not appreciate the script, and did not like the direction of the 4 reels which I had made by borrowing or begging or stealing, as they say, you see.
Who were the people in charge at that time of FFC? I mean,
FFC, the gentleman who was the chairman, I don't remember the name. He was some banker, you see, some bank manager or something, because he had nothing to do with films. But Mehboob Khan was one of the members of this committee, and he said, yes, certainly, I think you should receive the finance, because your type of producers can do with 2 lakhs of rupees or 3 lakhs of rupees, while people like us need 10 or 15 lakhs of rupees. We cannot make small pictures.
but his advice was not apparently.
Was not heeded by the chairman.
Anyway, you made the film. On what basis did you make the film?
I made it ultimately on a cooperative basis. I said all the 15 partners, the 6 artists, along with all character artists, would have 1 share each, and 9 technicians also will have 1 share each. 15 the
15 people were to
15
get
people
equal
were
share.
the equal partners, including myself. As director, writer, and producer, I had 1 share, not 3 shares. And the picture became a gold medal winner, and was the only picture which gave us some money
Some
out
pro-
of all the pictures that I have made.
Some profit. It was quite popular.
To some extent, yes, it was quite popular.
I mean, it was released in Bombay after it won the award, and it did good business.
Yes. But the award was a big incentive for people to see the picture, because I had not shown the picture to anybody before that, not to any audience. You see. And the day it was released, the picture was shown in Delhi after the awards function. That was the first time any public was seeing the picture. Normally, people walk out of the cinema hall because they have already shown the award-winning picture. They have already seen the award-winning picture. And therefore, they just walk out, or they don't take much interest. But on that day, we had a record capacity house. Record capacity house because everybody in Delhi was interested in seeing this picture, which had won the greatest award in India. Because normally the pictures get the award after they are. This was the only picture which was given the award first and released afterwards.
So award did make a difference.
Made a difference.
Your Shehra Sapna was shown in Karlovy, and I think it won an award also there.
Yes.
Apart from award, did it bring any money from abroad?
No, it didn't bring any money.
Immediately after this Chairosma, you undertook Asman Mahal. Asman Mahal was
No, before Asman Mahal, I made Hamara Ghar, the children's film.
I see.
Because I had promised Panditji when he gave us the division of profits of charity of Shahr or Sapna, I had got these purses containing the division of the award money done by Panditji in his house. And there he said, when will you make a picture for us, for me? I said, Panditji, all the pictures I make are for you. He said, no, I mean for me and my children. When will you make a children's film? I said, I had made a picture called Munna, which was partly children's film. He said, yes, I have seen it, but I would like to see more such films. And therefore, I promised him that my next picture will be a children's picture. And a few weeks after that, Panditji died, and therefore, I was sworn to make a children's picture. Therefore, people were asking me that now is the time when you can go for big stars and big pictures and big finance because you have won the gold medal. I said, no, I have to keep up my promise to Panditji, soul, and therefore make a children's film, the story of which was written by my friend Krishan Chandar. He wrote the story and together we wrote the screenplay and made a children's picture in which the 14 children played a lot of mischief and created all kinds of problems during the making of the picture, but succeeded in helping us to make a really significant and important picture, which could be seen by children at one level and by the elders at another level. The children could be thrilled by the idea of 14 children being
together,
stranded on one island where there is no house for them to live in, and therefore when the rains come they build a house together. But the elders could see in this the struggle for the national integration, that the children represented 14 different communities and castes and provinces of India, and therefore national integration was involved in the very process of their making their joint house on which the flag of India was flying.
This film, did it get any award?
Well, frankly, I entered it for the Children's Film Award, and I was told that the committee did not regard it as a children's film at all. So disappointed in India, I sent the picture to 3 festivals of children's films. 2 of the festivals I did not even attend because I didn't have enough money to go there. But I was surprised when it got the second prize at Gottwaldorf Film Festival in Czechoslovakia. Then it won another award in Gijón, that is in Spain, at Children's Film Festival. There also, by coincidence or whatever it was, it got the second prize. And then in Santa Barbara, in USA, where I went myself to represent the country, it won again a second prize because the first prize was a $1 million picture called Mary Poppins. But there also, it got the second prize, and more than the second prize, I value that a certain social worker of government of USA saw the picture. He came from Los Angeles, where there were very famous Watts riots between the Negroes and the whites. At that time, the Negro and white people were struggling against each other like Hindus and Muslims in India. And he took this picture, borrowed it from me for one night. He took it to Los Angeles and showed it to black and white children together. And the way they liked the picture, he said, well, why wouldn't you together like to make such a picture? They said, yes, we would like to. And then he made this picture for them on the same lines as our different communities and people coming together. There it was only the Negroes and the whites coming together. I don't know I haven't seen the picture, but I heard that it was very successful.
So after this Hamara Ghar, then you took Asman Mahal.
Yes, Asman Mahal I took.
In which Prithviraj played the role of Nawab.
Yes.
And he won an award also.
Yes.
Where did he get the award?
Karlovy Vary.
This film, Asman Mahal. Would you throw more light on the film? You made the film in Hyderabad.
Yes, it was based on a story by my friend Indar Raj Anand, who had written a story about the decline of feudalism in Hyderabad. And therefore, I took a palace, a very broken down, decrepit palace of an old Nawab who had fallen on evil days and needed money for repairing this palace. Therefore, he loaned it, rented it out to us, the whole palace for 4,000 rupees a month. And therefore, since I had managed some kind of finance from a South Indian producer, distributor, who was giving me 50,000 rupees for 3 months, 50,000 rupees a month. So I had this 1,50,000. Therefore, I told Prithvi Raj that I cannot pay you anything, and at the end of it, you can have the Bombay territory. And that was the arrangement with Prithvi Raj. And apart from him, there were character actors like Nana Palsikar and our own artists, Dilip Raj and Surekha.
The shooting in Hyderabad,
Was a new kind of experiment for us.
how did it go? You didn't have any trouble.
No, I didn't have any trouble. We rented a house which belonged to the Vice Chancellor of the Hyderabad University. We lived in that house, slept on the floors, and every morning we walked to the palace. This palace, which was not very far, it was about a mile, you see, from the place where we were staying, and spent the whole day in the palace shooting various scenes. We shot the poor scenes of Nana Palsikar's house, also in the outhouses of the palace, the servant quarters. So the places where we were shooting, whether it was of the Nawab's house, the palace, or of his Sais,
It was the
who
same.
was played by Nana Palsikar, who was not now the size of the Nawab, but he was a rickshaw puller. And therefore, his house was also constructed in the palace itself. So we did not have to go anywhere, except once we went and shot in the Salarjung Museum. And for that, we took our lights and went there and shot the scenes of the boy and the girl.
The romantic part of it.
Romantic one.
These films that you made after Charlie Chal Rahe, did they have songs? I mean, did Shehra Sapna had song? I don't think it had.
They had some song,
Achha.
3 or 4 songs.
Asman Mahal was shown in Karolvari Film Festival. You went there.
Yes.
How was the reaction?
The action was very good, especially for the performance of Prithvi Raj Kapoor, who was highly applauded because he was also present there in the festival. And the Academy of Art gave him a special prize for his performance.